Fed's final move. Let's move to the first slide. Of course, that was one of the main things that happened this week. We had a Fed meeting. Fed raised rates to the highest level in 22 years. Is it the last move? Is it the last one we're going to see? What do you think? Early question on the hot seat. Give it to me.
Yeah, it's the last move.
It feels like it, right? It feels like it might be.
Yeah, it's the last move. It's a layup last move.
So I asked because in the second bullet is part of the reason why I ask. Obviously, everybody wonders that, but everything seems to be fine here, honestly. I mean, even for those of us who don't really pay that much attention to every single detail in the economy. I say that because ECB raised rates for the ninth time, 3.75%. And honestly, they're not really sure what their next move is going to be because their economy is pretty weak. They got a lot going on there in Europe right now, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is where we are. All these central banks have been raising rates. Speaking of central banks raising rates, Japan threw everybody a little bit for a loop yesterday. Was it a classic top, Tony? Was it a classic top yesterday? Did we see it?
Well, I heard from a very well-respected industry expert that yesterday was a classic top.
And I am an industry expert because when I was doing a webinar last night, I got introduced as an industry expert.
So it must be.
So it must be true.
Equities panicked yesterday. You guys saw it. Everybody saw it. It was big panic. Right around noon our time, 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Eastern, equities panicked on the rumor of BOJ might tweak their yield curve control beyond negative 0.5%. And apparently it's true. Apparently that's what they were coming out with today. They said it in so many different words. Yen took off yesterday. I think it kind of faded back since, but and they're the only ones who never really changed the rates. The only one time I think they went up 25 basis points last December. That's about it. So we're going to have to see how much that eventually affects either currencies or some of the other stuff going on in the equity markets. Earnings a lot this week, a ton of earnings. Microsoft, Google, and Meta were the headliners this week. And Microsoft faded on earnings. They say basically AI is expensive. And I mean, apparently it is. Did you guys hear this yesterday about or the day before? Netflix apparently posted a job relating to AI for like $600,000-$700,000 amidst all this strike going on with all these people in Hollywood. Like apparently they pissed people off by doing this. Clearly AI is expensive. I mean, if you're listing jobs for $800,000, that's crazy. So that's wild.
Yes.
And
bad timing.
Bad timing to say the least. Google had pretty good earnings apparently, and advertising is okay. And Meta is. I don't know what the hell is going on with Meta. I don't know how they continue to fool people. I'm not sure why the stock was up so much on earnings yesterday, but something else.
I remember when we were hating him, and it was just like a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and it seemed like they came up with this BS metaverse thing, but yet they don't even talk about it anymore. How'd that happen?
Yeah, we forget about that.
Volatility, you know what?
Not bad.
I had to change this up because basically volatility was at 2-week lows, and then we had the spike yesterday on the, I don't want to call it bogus news, but it was just, kind of weird. So VIX spiked, and so did VVIX. VVIX is back in the mid 90s now, and VIX went back above 13. Let's move ahead to the next slide. Speaking of VIX, this is a chart. Take it with a grain of salt. Average monthly percentage change in VIX with data going back to 1990. So the one way to look at this is that after we get some of the doldrums in March and April and May, this is percentage moves on average in each month. We typically can get a rise in moves in August and September. And the other way to remember this is that VIX, again, looks 30 days forward. So when August is looking 30 days ahead to September using 30-day forward SPX options. And then September is using October. And we usually, obviously October has been a volatile month at times. So on average, this is just looking at that and saying there's potential chance for pops in August and September. Good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we might get some pop in volatility in August, September. We may or may not. But on average in the past, this is what we've seen. And then, of course, you see the big drop off in November, which is looking ahead to December, which we usually don't have a whole lot going on. Let's move ahead to the next slide. Oil, man, going vertical recently. What do you guys think about this oil move?
I think
haven't gotten caught in it yet.
Yeah, we don't have a position on because IV rank was like next to zero, but I kind of think it's bogus, but I haven't stepped in yet.
It's still low at 1.
I know. That's why I said I haven't done anything in there.
It's been a strong movement from like around like 72 to like 80. I mean, it's been
this is an incredible move. This is a move that needs to be sold. It's just a question of, where do you step in?
Yeah. We've seen it in all facets, whether it's oil-related products, whether it's refiners or oil itself, as you can see here. So, been a big move in oil recently. Something to keep an eye on. Let's move ahead to the next slide.
This is about the size. A $10 move in oil is kind of near its max. So I kind of getting ready to start selling oil. Yeah,
we just need a little bit of a vol pickup. These are the top 10 traded altcoins in 2023. Ripple is I literally was talking about this slide the other day. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Cardano I recognize, ADA, but I really don't recognize about 4 or 5 of them. Ripple I know, Solana I know, Doge obviously, BNB, isn't that Binance? I'm pretty sure it's Binance Coin. And
that is Binance Coin. Matic, I thought we were offering it. Litecoin, and
I don't know APT.
Yeah, I'm not sure of that one, but ADA, Cardano we were offering.
Right. I don't mean to interrupt you, Jamal. I want to go back to oil for just a quick second. You made a comment that $10 move over the last month seems to be extreme. Just to put it in perspective, with the implied volatility in oil, that would be almost a 3-month move. So when you say a $10 or $12 move off its lows that just happened in June, a month ago, yeah, you really it has some weight to it.
Yeah, I think we should probably put a small debit spread on here just as just to get like our feet wet, and then I'm going to put a small debit spread in here.
You can do September with 49 days, correct?
Yeah. But I'm just going to put a bid in below the market and see if we get filled, and then just start to build a couple of debit spreads here.
At the money's 49.50.
At the money.
Yeah, I did a little wider, 1.5. Trade around 68, 69, 67 cents. I put 67 cent bid in. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Bid price 69.
Yeah, takeaway here. Ripple has been the top traded altcoin of 2020.
If everybody that wants to trade digital assets, I kind of feel like, unfortunately we can't trade Ripple because we don't support Ripple on Tasty, but we will, because I think after that court case, Zero Hash supports it, so we could add it. But that said, the reason that I think everybody should support Ripple is because they're the only one of these blockchains that stepped up. Mm. Like they stepped up when we needed somebody in the industry to step up, and they did. So I think the fact that everybody's trading it, people, really appreciate that.
Good point. Yeah, good point. Let's move ahead to the next slide. Little quick look ahead. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot on the.
No, not a whole lot at all.
If you notice, with this SPX forward curve, it's essentially between, let's call it 14.5 and 10 when you're looking at IV, just implied volatility here. So you can see, I would really call the jobs report the only kind of bump on any given week. CPI, I mean, those are basically, I just put it on there just to put it on there. But I mean, I'm expecting to be mostly null and void. We'll see how this next one plays out, but I'm expecting most of those to be null and void. August expiration, of course, and then the Jackson Hole meeting for those who care about that. There's no Fed meeting this month, but Jackson Hole, and they don't set any policy there or whatever. But I just want to put on there. I know people think that that's going to be something. I don't really think it is. It's going to be fairly quiet, I think, for the rest of the month of August once earnings die down. Let's move ahead to the next slide. To round out here, Dow, where were you when the Dow streak ended? What were you doing? It's over. It's a wrap, people, okay? Dow ended its longest streak of 13. Do you know if it would have did 14, it would have been the longest streak since like 1896 or something like that. So Japan, thanks, Japan. You messed it up for everybody. Q2 GDP was faster than anybody expected, and the Fed's inflation indicator tumbled. I mentioned all this because, again, like we said at the top, everything seems to be fine. So why can't the Fed be done? They might be done. It might be a wrap. PacWest bought a smaller. Oh, I'm sorry, I flipped that up. I messed that up. Bank of California bought PacWest, one of the banks we saw struggling during March during that regional bank crisis, and they didn't need the government's help.
They did it all by themselves, like big boys and girls.
You know what I mean? I mean, they held Jamie Dimon held their hand while they did it, but that's okay. July non-farm payrolls is the next big event we got coming up next Friday, and research, Tasty Bites, scaling up in small accounts. Why don't you check that out? That's all I got.
Awesome. Hey, good job out of you. Let's recap in the week. Let's take a quick 90-second break and get to the end of the week with the opening bell next. Thanks, Jamal.
Peace.
And there ain't nothing we can't love each other through. What would we do, baby, without you?
Ta-da-da-da.